Do you find yourself saying, I don't have enough time? Well, let me challenge you on something. Pick up your phone and work out what your screen time is. If it's more than 2 to 3 hours, then you do not have that excuse. So let me tell you something. A few years ago, I was working a 9 to 5 job after I finished my PhD, and I was also running my business, The Page Doctor, with about 10 to 15 employees at the time. I also was running my social media account. I had an agency. I was working with multi-million-dollar brands, and I was doing all of that whilst I was pregnant, and then I had my child, and I was doing all of this at the same time. I managed to go on holiday. I managed to have fun outside of my work. And the number one question I'd get with my friends and people online was, how are you balancing it all? Like, how are you making space for everything in your life? It's not easy to juggle multiple responsibilities, and it's definitely one that requires you to organize your time well, schedule with the utmost precision, and just be so mindful of everything that you do. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 tips for how I balanced all of my responsibilities whilst having a full 9 to 5 job. Tip 1 is to ruthlessly prioritize. Now, this is a tough one because we think that everything is important. We think that everything has a space in our life, and it really doesn't. And the sooner you realize that not everything needs to be done, or not everything needs to be done now, is when you can prioritize. So I would make sure that I knew what it was that I needed to get done for that day, and then the things that had to get done that I had no option about, they were urgent, they were important, I would always do them first, and then I'd move on to the other things next. Make sure that the tasks that you decide to do first are ones that work towards your goal. There's no point of doing a random activity when you haven't done the number one thing that's required of you to get to the next step of your goal. The first thing is to always make sure you are scrutinizing your to-do list and ask yourself, do I really need to do this right now? The second thing is that I had time management down to the T. I was using all the things. I had a daily planner, was using random apps, I had my notes app, I had my Apple Watch where I could see what time it is and my calendar. I also would use things like time blocking, the Eisenhower, like so many different techniques to help me to make sure that I knew that I was staying on track. And I know it sounds like a lot. It sounds a lot saying it out loud, but actually when you're in the task and you're doing the thing and you've built this time management as part of your everyday, it just becomes a muscle memory. Like, I didn't have to think, let me time block. I didn't have to think, let me think about the most important task. I would just do it. So my tip for you would be, set yourself a schedule which includes time management techniques that work for you. Embed them into your everyday, and when you do them every day, it becomes so normal that you don't even have to think about it anymore. The third one is one that was really difficult for me, and I still find it quite difficult, and that's to delegate or to outsource. I find it really hard to pass things on to other people because I always think that no one's going to do it as good as you. Like, no one's going to do this thing as well as you will do it. I always have this in the back of my mind, but this is the worst way to think, because this is how you end up in a situation where you are doing it all when you don't need to do it all. Let's go to the most simple option. If, for example, you have a child and your mum is close by and she's like, let me take your child, I would say, no, it's fine, I'm fine. Yes, take the child, go, it's your mother. You sure look after your child, have half an hour off, have half a day off, do work, do whatever you need to do. Don't say no. Allow others to help you. Allow your village to be your village. And the same with work. If there's certain tasks that you don't need to do, things like, for example, my YouTube videos, I used to edit everything myself, and I was like, there's no one that's going to edit as good as me, even though it was the most basic editing. But in your head, you just think no one can do it as well as I can do it. And I realized that, but I'm wasting hours and hours of every single week editing when I could easily delegate this to someone who is a professional video editor. And that's exactly what I did. And things like this it's hard because it feels like, well, I'm paying £50 for someone to edit a video. I could do it myself. Well, that £50 is the equivalent of you spending half a day or a whole day working on this edit when you didn't need to. So value your time, and your time will value you. The fourth thing that I've definitely done a lot more, especially since moving to the UAE, is valuing self-care. I have always been a person that, like, I've never gone to like a spa or like getting a manicure or pedicure, like going out to a restaurant, like those kind of things I would do on the weekend here or there, but it would never just be on a weekday. It would never be just because. It would never be as a treat. It would always be to celebrate something, or like it would have to have a purpose, so I don't feel guilty about it. But actually, it's really important to look after yourself and do the things that you enjoy, and do things that mean that you're just looking after yourself. Something as simple as a massage, something as simple as, you know, just looking after your hair, or like getting your nails done. I know that sounds so basic and so like worldly, but these are things that mean that you will be able to sleep better, relax well, so you'll be able to work harder. The fact that you've had a good night's sleep, the fact that you've been able to rest in the evening, the fact that you've taken some time off means that you're able to reset. And a lot of us don't value that as the fact that we're working. We think, oh, well, I'm in a spa for 2 hours. I could have done X, Y, and Z. I always think like this till this day. But I've had to shift my mentality and tell myself, well, actually, that 2 hours is you pressing the reset button. And when you come back from those 2 hours, you will be better, you'll be stronger, you'll be a lot more ready to embrace the challenges, embrace the next set of activities that you're going to do. And the fifth and last tip is to be flexible and adaptable. Again, this is something that I've really had to learn, and having kids teaches this to you the hard way. You do not have full control of your time. You have to be aware that things can happen. Time blocking doesn't always work, because you could block an hour out and then your baby wakes up, you get a call, you don't feel great. Like, these things can happen, and it's okay. You have to be able to be adaptable. You have to be able to say, right, well, you know, it's not working how I want it to be, but that's okay. I can change things up. I can make it work. I can do this. I can do that. Like, I can shift things around. And you have to be able to be adaptable. Otherwise, you will just be so guilt-ridden because you're not following your schedule. You're not working on time. Things aren't falling into place. You're like stressing out, and it just doesn't lead to a healthy you. Always have a plan B. Sometimes I just don't have a plan B, because I think sometimes no plan B is a good idea, just to mean that you don't have you have no excuse not to do the thing. But sometimes it's really helpful to have a plan B, have another option. So let's say, for example, a simple example, if my phone, I'm recording some content, my phone battery is dead, it's not working, or my microphone is dead, it's not working. Okay, so I can't do it on my phone. So I have an option, right? If I can't do it on my phone, I know that let me edit something else. So I can't record on my phone, but I've got some content that I can edit. Let me do the editing right now. So I've told myself in advance that if this is not possible, let me do this thing. And I already have that as a backup plan. So now when my phone messes up and it's not working anymore, I'm not there stuck like, oh my God, it's not working, what should I do? I'm in this like panic mode because I haven't even considered that as an option. Always think about what the plan B could be. Always think about what the second option could be. Be flexible, be adaptable, allow yourself space to make those mistakes, and then just jump up from that. It's fine. It's no big deal. It's not easy to balance it all. I'm not here to tell you that it's simple or something that, you know, just a few tips can help you out. It's a lifelong thing. It's something that there are good weeks. I have good weeks where I can balance everything. I have weeks where I haven't been able to do anything because I'm working too much on the other thing. And that's okay. That's also okay. That's also you balancing it, because that's also you making it work for you. As long as you're looking after yourself, prioritizing your health, prioritizing your mental well-being, prioritizing your sleep, your relationships, then everything else will fall into place. So it's also okay not to have everything figured out. It's okay for things to be slightly off, but as long as you feel like you're overall working towards all the goals that you have, you're overall satisfying all the different avenues that you function in, then that is the main thing. If you enjoyed this video, then please let me know down below. Let me know if you're someone that has struggled with balancing things, or you've been able to make it work. Let us know down below. Share your stories with us. I'd love to hear, and I hope to see you next video. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye.